The system is completely based on money.
Yeah.
The studio system.
Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness. Go see Sound of Freedom.
Mel Gibson's appearance in court was nothing short of cinematic, but the drama unfolding wasn't scripted. It was real, raw, and devastating. The actor, a figure both revered and controversial in Hollywood, entered the courtroom with a gravity that silenced. The crowd, his testimony was not just another celebrity moment, but an explosive expose of an alleged underworld of abuse, manipulation, and power games that stretched far beyond the glittering facade of fame. Mel Gibson wasn't just naming names. He was pulling back the curtain on a culture that had thrived in shadows for decades. And at the center of it all stood Shondy Bohms, a mogul who had once been the life of the party but now faced accusations that painted him as a puppet master in a horrifying web of exploitation.
Dishonest, violent, horrible. A promiscuous swinger who lied to and cheated on multiple partners. Incredibly, that's how Sean Diddy Combs' own lawyers described the billionaire music mogul, currently facing serious trafficking charges in a New York court.
The courtroom atmosphere was electric. The audience, a mix of reporters, lawyers, and spectators, desperate to catch even the smallest detail of Gibson's account. This wasn't just about Diddy. It was about what he represented. Gibson painted a chilling picture of Hollywood as a machine fueled not by talent and creativity, but by secrecy, coercion, and greed. He described an intricate system of control, where power wasn't just exercised, it was weaponized. At the center were events referred to as freak-offs grotesque, gatherings cloaked in exclusivity, where vulnerable women were allegedly coerced into participating in multi-day encounters with male companions, handpicked for these occasions. Substances, money, and fear were the tools of control ensuring compliance. And silence.
You can't build a resentment about it. You have to still try and love those people.
Yeah.
Because that's the way they're thinking.
The details Gibson shared were harrowing. These weren't the carefree parties the public imagined when thinking of celebrity gatherings. According to his testimony, these events were meticulously planned and executed. Hotel rooms were stocked with supplies, assistants fed substances and cash, and victims were groomed to believe they had no choice but to comply. One woman identified in court filings as Jane described being trapped in these sessions for years, often under the influence of substances provided by Diddy's team. The sessions, she said, were not only degrading, but physically exhausting, leaving her with injuries and emotional scars that lingered long after the events ended.
Referred to me as Wild King Nights. And what a Wild King Night was when him and a guest would go to a hotel room or be at his home, his bedroom, and they would have intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil, Astroglide.
The accusations didn't stop at coercion. Gibson's testimony suggested that these gatherings were part of a larger system of blackmail and control. Allegedly, Diddy and his associates recorded these sessions, using them as leverage over both participants and high-profile guests. The message was clear. You played by their rules or your secrets would be exposed. This wasn't just about indulgence, it was about ensuring loyalty, submission, and silence. Victims, already isolated and financially dependent, were left with little choice but to comply. The tapes, Gibson claimed, weren't just evidence of crimes. They were tools of power in an industry built on image and reputation. What made Gibson's testimony even more damning was his assertion that Diddy was not acting alone. He implicated a broader network of Hollywood elites, suggesting that these events were not isolated incidents, but part of a system designed to protect the powerful and silence the vulnerable. The ties, he hinted, stretched deep into the entertainment industry, encompassing not just music, but film, fashion. And beyond Diddy, he claimed wasn't just a participant, but a key orchestrator, someone who used his influence to build and maintain this system. The implication was clear. Taking down Diddy could potentially unravel an entire network.
I thought he was this clean businessman who rise to the top because he was such a powerful and smart, educated man. I had no idea that he had this other side to him. And when I started to get exposed to his lifestyle, I started to really realize, this guy has an addiction. It's not just, once every few weeks, it's every day, every hour.
The courtroom was riveted as Gibson outlined the alleged power dynamics that allowed such behavior to flourish. Diddy, As one of the most influential figures in music and entertainment, wielded enormous power over those around him. Victims were often young, impressionable, and desperate to succeed in an industry where connections could make or break a career. Diddy's wealth and status gave him the leverage to isolate and control them, offering opportunities and financial support with one hand, while taking away their autonomy with the other. Assistants, bodyguards, and even household staff played roles in facilitating the system. Whether through direct involvement or willful ignorance, the allegations against Diddy had been building for years, but Gibson's testimony gave them a new level of credibility, and urgency reports had long circulated about hotel nights and freak-offs, but they had often been dismissed as rumors or exaggerated tabloid fodder. Now, with a Hollywood heavyweight like Gibson speaking out, those whispers were impossible to ignore. His testimony brought to light not just the alleged crimes themselves, but the mechanisms that allowed them to go unchecked for so long. It wasn't just about individual actions, it was about a culture of complicity, where silence was bought, victims were discredited, and the powerful were protected at all cost.
And I've often felt it. I've sat there, and I have felt the knife slipped firmly in between my shoulder blades and tried to have it shoved through the other side through my heart.
The case against Diddy was already staggering in scope. Federal prosecutors had accused him of turning his business empire into a criminal enterprise, engaging in activities that ranged from coercion and trafficking to physical violence and intimidation. Court documents detailed allegations of kidnapping, forced encounters, and even recordings used as blackmail. One lawsuit described Diddy's alleged role in destroying evidence, including videos and text messages to cover his tracks. Another recounted an incident where a woman was allegedly coerced into participating in a session that left her physically and emotionally broken. Each victim's account added another layer of horror to an already damning picture.
I want to start with alleged victim number 4, who goes by the name Mia. It's an alias. She is one of the people who is testifying where the judge has granted her anonymity. She is on the stand, but everybody in the courtroom has been warned. Do not reveal her identity. Do not even give a physical description of her.
Gibson's testimony also highlighted the lengths to which Diddy's team allegedly went to maintain control. Assistants were said to have coordinated travel and accommodations for victims, ensuring they were isolated, and dependent substances were allegedly supplied to lower inhibitions and ensure compliance, with victims often left in a haze of confusion and fear. The physical and emotional toll of these events was immense, with one victim describing how she suffered from chronic pain and psychological trauma long after her involvement ended. These were not isolated incidents, but patterns of behavior that, according to prosecutors, spanned decades. The implications of Gibson's testimony were enormous, if even a fraction of what he described was true. It could blow the lid off an entire system of exploitation and abuse in Hollywood. The trial wasn't just about holding Diddy accountable, it was about exposing the rot at the heart of an industry that had long prioritized profit and image over justice and accountability. The courtroom was left in stunned silence as Gibson concluded his initial remarks, leaving everyone wondering what else might come to light in the days. Would this be the moment Hollywood's darkest secrets were finally revealed, or would the system once again find a way to protect its own?
And I was looking at a building with the top of the 6s on it, so there was a huge illuminated 666 in red. And I went from that to that to that, and he started smiling. And I thought, oh no, Chris Walken is the Antichrist.
The revelations didn't stop with Mel Gibson's testimony, or the shocking tales of freak-offs. As investigators dug deeper into Sean Diddy's empire, they uncovered a labyrinth of allegations, hidden connections, and sinister implications that stretched far beyond one man's trial. The courtroom drama was only the surface of a story that seemed to grow darker. With every passing day, authorities, whistleblowers, and insiders were beginning to piece together what some are calling one of the most explosive scandals in modern entertainment history. A scandal that could implicate not only Hollywood elites, but also global figures in politics, business, and even royalty. One of the most chilling discoveries came from the raid on Diddy's Beverly Hills mansion. While the media initially focused on the sensational finds, hidden rooms stocked with bizarre items, an arsenal of party supplies, and detailed guest logs, insiders revealed that these discoveries were just the beginning. Reports surfaced about a network of properties allegedly used for similar purposes, stretching across the US and even overseas. A luxury villa in the Caribbean, a private estate in Europe, and a secluded compound in Miami were all rumored to be part of the same pattern, each location According to sources close to the investigation, was designed with entertainment in mind, complete with private areas, inaccessible to staff or visitors. Could these properties have hosted the same disturbing events Gibson described in court?